Hello guys, Gladiator Bricks here. I wanted to talk about something I thought would be a cool versus video if people would do it. The Empire versus, now let's have a drum roll, the Decepticons from Transformers. And I don't mean just one little unit of Decepticons, every Decepticon unit. There are several different. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because the Decepticons are a pretty large armada. It's not this small armada. The Decepticons are millions of different vehicle forms. There are also the Predacons and other Decepticon units at the same time. I'm not going to side with the Empire here. I'm going to hope that somebody else will come in defense of the Empire and do a video on in defense of the Empire. So whoever wants to do like the in defense of the Empire video, go ahead. But anyways, let's talk about what kind of Decepticons we're talking about. In the end, let's talk about generals and characters who would easily kill millions of stormtroopers. There's Megatron. He would kill millions of stormtroopers in a matter of seconds, gunning them down in cold blood without much of a fight. It would basically be like, so if you were a stormtrooper and you challenged Megatron and started shooting at him, you'd basically be putting your head in the inside of a lion's mouth and asking it to chomp, and asking it, could you please not chomp down on my head? And then suddenly, chomp, you're eaten. That's basically what would happen. So going up against Megatron is like going up against something worse than the Death Star. Now the defense, somebody would probably say, but they got the Death Star. Excuse me, the Death Star is a small weapon compared to half the arsenal of the Transformers. And I've seen just one fusion cannon destroy things twice the size of the Death Star. The Decepticons are incredibly powerful in their weapons and vehicle modes alone. Of course, let's go on to one of my favorite characters in the team of the Decepticons, Shockwave. There are several different forms of him, but he does some pretty bad damage and creates some pretty dangerous things. Which I would like to point out, don't go up against him if you have any sense. Excuse me. If you have any sense in your head, run the other way and get as far from him as possible. Now, there are other Decepticons like Starscream. He's a Decepticon general, which I kind of been annoyed at that character, but I'm not going to name it. There's Brawl, part of the Combaticons, which also form into a giant version called Bruticus. There's the Constructicons. Then if you watch Transformers Prime, there are much larger amounts of soldiers. In fact, there are normal foot soldiers in Transformers Prime. So I'm expanding and opening up the whole entire universe. The problem is with the Empire, there's no expanded universe for them. So it's like, boom. Now, the Empire only has soldiers, vehicles, but the problem is a jet, according to my friend, a jet is much better than a TIE fighter. But then again, in defense of the Transformers, they can automatically just copy those vehicle forms. Doesn't matter. They can copy those vehicle forms and use them against you. And they can even worse, there would be lots of other different enemies that you could go from, and you're probably wondering, wait, what about the Autobots? Aren't they coming to defend the Empire? Nope. The Autobots were destroyed in this version. The Autobots are completely annihilated in this version of the story. So they're looking for other planets and other solar systems to conquer. So they're trying to conquer the Star Wars world. The only defense for the Empire is Darth Vader and Palpatine. The problem is, the Force cannot stop a blast as big as the Death Star's cannon. Which means going up against Megatron's fusion cannon weapon, you're not going to block that attack. No offense. You're also not going to block bullets. You're not going to block explosives like people believe. The Force can't stop a giant beam of light this big around and going really fast. That's how dangerous Megatron's main weapon is. He could easily blow up the Death Star himself. Probably even go into the he could probably just walk in front of the Death Star and take the beam to his chest and still be alive afterwards. Then there are other enemies we could. Now you're probably going to say, wait a minute, what about Unicron? Aren't you going to put Unicron? Unicron's not a Decepticon. He's a villain, but he's not a Decepticon. Unicron is a very dangerous weapon. He's a very dangerous person, more dangerous than any of the Decepticons combined. In fact, he's an enemy that even Megatron teamed up with the Autobots just to defeat. But I could say in this story, Megatron took control of Unicron somehow, so he has Unicron working on his side, which means if he's got Unicron on his side, then Unicron can take over and assimilate the Death Star, and then there's no hope for the Empire, period. So the only hope for the Empire is either Darth Vader or Palpatine, which those two are pretty much taken out, and they'll probably retreat in fear of these new enemies because the Decepticons are 100% unstoppable and more dangerous. Their weapons are more deadly as well. I mean, it's like this. Imagine a weapon like this, only twice the size of a human. And it fires plasma at you. Meaning, this weapon fires plasma. Some of their weapons are plasma based. And then there are vehicle forms. Decepticons who form into Predacons. Form into animal versions. Others who form into much worse versions like combat tanks. In the end, the Decepticons would win or wind up destroying so much of the Empire that the Empire would have to give up. I'm sorry. Anybody who's sympathizing with the Empire is like, no. You might as well realize the Empire's not going to be saved in this battle. So who wins? Well, Megatron wins, sadly. And what kind of defense? But I will give the chances of I will go ahead and put, for my thumbnail though, I'm going to put a picture of a Storm Sand Trooper next to Megatron, so that you guys can see like a fight between. So you can see like this will be my thumbnail for the video, and hopefully you guys will watch this video. We'll get to see the. Oh, this is my build from that one movie. See how I built it? It's kind of like a wall area with a lot of mountain. This is actually something you can do for your stop motion setups very easily. The mountain design is actually very good. Anyways, so in the end though, the Empire would lose, and the Decepticons, oh, they would win. They'd be standing victorious. Anyways, that's it for today. Comment, subscribe, and share your comments. And if you want to, if you do a video based off why you think the Empire would win, link that video to me so I can watch it. And I'll do another. And if you guys want me to post another versus video, let me know. Well, TIFN, ta-ta for now.